Hi folks, today I'm going to be taking you through the process of photosynthesis. So in photosynthesis, this is the process by which autotrophs, which we've also heard of as producers, make their own food. They do this by trapping energy from the sun. So they're going to take light energy and they're going to convert that into chemical energy, which will be put into carbohydrates. Reminder, things that are producers are plants and algae and other things like that that can do this process of photosynthesis. So in the end, what's going to happen in photosynthesis is we're going to transform our light energy, again, that came from the sun, and we convert that into chemical energy. Chemical energy is stored in the bonds of molecules. So specifically, we're going to take that light energy and we're going to store it into the bonds of molecules that make up glucose. So another way of saying this is we're going to use light from the sun. Plants combine water and carbon dioxide to make sugar. So what we're going to do is just kind of take a look at where this process happens and how it's going to happen in the cell. So this is the equation for photosynthesis. That's something that you need to be able to recognize. So for the reaction of photosynthesis to happen, you are going to need carbon dioxide and water. Those are your reactants. You also are going to be using sunlight in this process. And from the carbon dioxide and water interacting with the energy from the sun, we are going to get our products, which are glucose and oxygen. Again, that energy is going to get stored in glucose, and oxygen is actually made as a waste product. So photosynthesis happens in an organelle within our cells called the chloroplast. And the chloroplast is made up mainly of thylakoid membranes. So these are all of these green disc-like things that we see inside of the picture. So those are called thylakoids. They are green because they contain chlorophyll, and chlorophyll's job is to absorb energy from the sun. And then the other main place where photosynthesis occurs is in the stroma. And so all around the thylakoids is empty liquidy space. And that is the area that we call the stroma. And part of the reactions of photosynthesis will happen there. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at those reactions that happen during this process. So the first thing that has to happen when photosynthesis occurs is the light reactions. These occur on the thylakoids, and that is because energy from the sun is going to get absorbed. And again, it's going to get absorbed by the chlorophyll that is found in those thylakoid membranes. And again, that is what gives the green color. And at the same time that the energy is being absorbed, water is going to be used in this process to help become kind of an energy carrier. And the end result of that is the oxygen that we have as waste. So we get oxygen out, water in, as we absorb energy from the sun. After the light reactions, the Calvin cycle can happen. So again, the Calvin cycle happens in the stroma. So that's just that liquidy portion all outside of the thylakoids. And we're going to use energy from the light reactions. So there's all this energy that was gained in light reactions actually gets carried over to the Calvin cycle on these little carrier molecules. And in the Calvin cycle, we're going to convert that carbon dioxide into sugars, which we know as glucose. This needs to happen continually throughout the day. Whenever there is sunlight, plants will absorb that energy and they will make a whole bunch of glucose, which will then get stored by the plant, oftentimes in the leaves or in fruit, or it might be used to make up cell walls and other structures. So think about this in relation to, a larger ecosystem. So producers are the ones that are going to provide energy into the ecosystem. They do that through photosynthesis. So they use that energy from the sun, and they're going to convert that light energy into chemical energy in glucose. And then consumers will gain that energy by eating either the producers or they'll eat each other, and they will get energy by breaking down that food and getting the energy from the bonds that is in there. And so we'll take a closer look at that process later in the unit.